Winding its way through Apache Canyon in northern New Mexico, our modern Santa Fe streamliner enters the land of Indian Pueblos. One of the outstanding sights of this vacation land is the Pueblo at Taos, New Mexico, looking much the same as when the Spanish first saw it in 1540. In this high, crisp altitude, the friendly Indians go about their daily work and give a welcome smile to visitors. Their distinctive dress is usually topped off by a cotton blanket wrapped around their shoulders. The women head the family and do the household work. In this curious dome-shaped oven of adobe, the Spanish call them hornos, proper heat is needed to bake the daily bread. The dough has been prepared the night before and is molded into circular loaves. A long path places the dough inside the oven, which the fire has previously heated. The heat retained by the thick adobe walls quickly bakes the bread. Can't you just smell its freshness? Growing in the flat bottomlands of the Rio Grande Valley, fields of corn remind us that this is the staple crop of the Indians. Here in the corrals are kept their cattle, for the Indians are stockmen as well as farmers. Another of the existing 19 Indian pueblos in New Mexico is that of Santa Clara. Their lands were guaranteed to them in charters from the kings of Spain. The original mission was established by the Franciscan missionaries more than 3 centuries ago. The simple beauty and fascinating history of these old missions make them the most interesting religious structures in the New World. Houses are made of adobe, a combination of native soil made into mud with straw used as a binder. Dried by the sun, the molded bricks become hard and are piled one upon another to make the walls. Wet adobe is also used as mortar to hold the bricks together. Cool in summer and warm in winter, the adobe house is ideal for this climate. Santa Clara pottery is decorated with designs that were old long before the white man came to this region. Most amazing of all, they're made by hand, without the benefit of a potter's wheel. You'll make no mistake in buying this fine Indian pottery for gifts or souvenirs. Further down the Rio Grande Valley lies still another adobe, named like so many others after their saint. Surrounding the plaza are the simply constructed adobe houses. In the middle of the plaza is the kiva, or ceremonial chamber. During religious and festive occasions, it is used for secret rites and ceremonies. One of the most important events of the year is the corn dance. But first, the santo, or statue of their patron saint, is placed in a temporary shrine. Here, the Indian women bring their children, light a candle, and say a prayer. Now the dancers group together, chanting an unmelodious but rhythmic song. In their hands, they wave small spruce boughs. The dancing women are barefoot, hoping to achieve fertility from the soil. On their heads are the feathered tablitas, a ceremonial headdress. The dance is partly to observe the gathering of the corn crop, but there are other symbolic and significant things about this dance. The leader holds a pole decorated with fox skins and feathers, and as it dips and sways above the dancers, their chants for the clouds to form are repeated hour after hour. The red top feathers pointing to the sky are to tempt the rain to fall. Mysteriously, the prayers and incantations of the dancers seem to bring results. The heavens grow darker, the wind blows stronger, the rain comes shortly after. But back to our civilization. Overlooking this historic city of Santa Fe is St. Francis Cathedral. Behind its altar is a famous museum of primitive church paintings and carvings. The cathedral is an enduring monument to Archbishop Lamy, who planned and built the cathedral and whose statue stands in front of the church today. The Palace of the Governors is another famous landmark. From its roof have flown the flags of 4 nations. Built before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock, it has housed many Spanish and American governors of this territory. Here, too, is the San Miguel Mission, oldest in the United States. Built 150 years before the missions of California, it still retains the original walls, although it has been renovated many times. Close by is the oldest house in the United States. Built of the native adobe clay, it is now a museum. These old adobe structures are just part of the charm of old Santa Fe. To retain this charm and atmosphere of colonial days, many new buildings are being designed and built in the Spanish Pueblo style. The post office is a fine example of this trend. Looking down College Street, we are reminded of the old Santa Fe Trail, which wound its way along this very same street. Many an ox-drawn wagon train from Missouri rumbled along this way to finally end its long journey at the plaza. Today, the plaza is quiet and shaded by trees, but the old days are recalled by a granite marker commemorating the end of this famous road of commerce. At one side of the plaza is La Fonda Hotel. Under Fred Harvey management, it still retains the charm of early Spanish days. In the open patio, you can bask in the sun and listen to the haunting strains of La Fonda's own native orchestra. La Fonda is also the starting place for the Indian detours. These fascinating motor trips, which leave the hotel every day in the year, enable you to explore leisurely and intimately the Pueblos and many other places around Santa Fe. Adding to the atmosphere of La Fonda are the native Indian dealers in silver and turquoise jewelry. These hand-fashioned authentic Indian designs are prized for their beauty and workmanship. Reasonable in price, they constitute one of the few articles of trade between the Indian and the white man. Another beauty spot in this romantic capital city is the Dahlia Gardens, occupying part of the grounds surrounding the governor's mansion. Famous for their size and beauty, these dahlias result from a combination of sunshine, good soil, and proper irrigation. It's time for Fiesta, the oldest community event in the United States. The hanging of Zozobra, the effigy of Old Man Gloom, is supervised by the artists of Santa Fe. After sunset, Old Man Gloom is put to the torch, signaling that joy and laughter shall reign for 3 full days in the royal city of the Holy Faith. The conquistadores marched to commemorate the reconquest of the city from the Indians more than 250 years ago. The queen of the fiesta follows with a retinue. Roving musicians play in the streets. All about the ancient plaza, the festive crowds make merry. You'll never forget fiesta in old Santa Fe. But now out to Bishop's Lodge, nestled in the pinon-covered foothills of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. One of the many fine guest ranches in northern New Mexico, it is built around the old chapel of Archbishop Lamy, whose good deeds and work have been immortalized in Willa Cather's book, Death Comes for the Archbishop. A popular diversion at New Mexico's guest or dude ranches is a pack trip into the mountains. But first, the horses are rounded up by the ranch hands. Guests delight in helping saddle their mounts and packing the gear. Learning the ways of the wranglers and helping out around the ranch is just part of the day's fun. Riding through pine-scented forests, the invigorating air of the high altitudes soon builds up an appetite. A stop is made and the fire is soon going. The smell of fresh coffee is hard to resist. There's no question but that the most ravenous appetite will be satisfied with these thick steaks. You'll even forget those bruises sustained in the saddle. A fisherman takes time out after lunch to try his luck in the swift-flowing mountain stream. Well stocked by the state, fishing is at its best in the mountains of New Mexico. But time goes quickly, and we have to make our way back to the lodge and a well-earned rest. In another part of these same mountains lie the sleepy Spanish villages of the Chimayo Valley. Here also is the chapel of El Santuario. Flanked by the towering cottonwood trees, it is one of the quaintest examples of Spanish Pueblo architecture in this colorful state. Known as the Lourdes of New Mexico, pilgrims come from far and near to seek divine help for their infirmities. Inside are canes and crutches, discarded by those who sought and found relief in this old shrine. Nearby live the Spanish weavers of Chimayo, whose craftsmanship has been handed down through many generations. These gaily colored blankets, woven from native wool on handmade looms, are prized by travelers far and wide. Further up the valley are other Spanish villages like Cordova, whose adobe houses are a splash of color in the autumn sun. In the month of October, the chili peppers have ripened and are ready for harvesting. When the entire crop has been gathered and hung, the countryside becomes a riot of color, the red chili peppers accenting the gold of adobe walls. Higher up in the mountains, the quaking aspens have changed from green to golden yellow. Whole mountainsides become a rippling blanket of tiny golden leaves. In all our west, there is no lovelier sight in the fall than the delicate coloring of the aspens, etched against a deep blue sky. No wonder so many artists and travelers have been attracted to this land of enchantment in the land of the Pueblos. Not long after the aspens have changed color, the snow falls and ushers in another season which offers recreation and sport to so many people today. Just 15 minutes from Santa Fe are some of the best ski slopes in America. A fortunate combination of sunny climate and dry, bracing air bids fair to make this region one of America's best ski resorts. Here in Santa Fe Basin, the snow is deep and well packed. Make sure your skis are well waxed to reduce their friction on the snow. Yes, there is skiing in New Mexico. Even the ladies enjoy this popular sport, and some of them can shush along as well as any man. There she goes. Yes, there's fun for everyone in New Mexico. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. This is truly a land of contrasts. From the sunny valleys to the snow-clad peaks, from the ancient man to the modern civilization of the white man. This unspoiled land of Pueblos invites you to explore and linger in this Southwest vacation land, the swift, modern, transcontinental trains of the Santa Fe Railroad.